Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're stepping back in time, or rather, exploring a story about someone desperate to step back in time.
That's right. We're looking at Richard Matheson's novel, Bid Time Return. It's this really intense story about love, obsession, and, well, bending the rules of reality.
It's about a man in 1971, Richard Collier, who falls completely in love with a photograph of an actress from the 1890s.
Elise McKenna, a famous stage actress, and his love isn't just admiration, it's this consuming need to somehow bridge that 75-year gap and actually meet her.
So this isn't just a summary today. We're going deep into Collier's mindset, how he plans this seemingly impossible journey, the whole concept of predestination that runs through it.
Exactly. And the characters, especially Elise herself, and the tragic collision course it all seems to be on, it's based on his diary, his notes, so it feels incredibly personal.
Yeah, it's told through his perspective, which really pulls you in. We want to unpack what makes this story tick, its themes, and maybe why it resonates so strongly.
And ultimately, what happens when you push against the boundaries of time itself? What's the cost? It all comes down to belief, fate, and maybe even a single penny.
Okay, let's start where the story starts. Richard Collier in 1971. What's his deal?
He sounds pretty messed up.
Oh, definitely. He's not just having a bad week. The book paints him as profoundly alienated from his own time, utterly disconnected.
How so? What does that look like for him?
Well, he describes the modern world, San Diego specifically, as this awful sensory overload. He uses this phrase, the grinding, pulsing presentness.
Grinding, pulsing presentness.
Wow, that says a lot.
Doesn't it? It's not just that it's busy or loud, it's the nowness of it all that feels like an assault. He mentions trivial things, like he just can't bring himself to care about mailing his car payment.
Right, like the basic functions of modern life just feel meaningless to him. Total detachment.
He's just adrift, exhausted by the sheer volume of the present. And this feeling, this deep dissatisfaction, it leads him somewhere specific.
The Hotel del Coronado.
Yes. This magnificent historic hotel becomes his refuge. He calls it a sanctuary for the care and protection of yesterday.
So it's more than just a nice old building for him. It's like a safe zone from 1971.
Absolutely. It feels like it's actively shielding him. The connection he feels to it is almost supernatural, even before the time travel starts.
Yeah, you mentioned that analogy he uses about leaving the hotel.
Right, the astral projection analogy. It's really telling. He feels like when he drives away, part of his soul, the calm part, stays behind at the hotel.
Wow.
And he's connected to it by this long, thin, ineffectual cord. When he drives back towards it and sees it looming above the distant trees, he literally cries out with relief as that cord, shortens and thickens, bringing peace back to him.
So he's already deeply invested in the past, emotionally tethered to this place before he even sees the photograph.
Exactly. The hotel is already working its magic on him. And then inside the sanctuary, he finds the picture, Elise McKenna.
And boom, instant obsession.
Total. He sees her face, her expression, and just knows she's his dream woman. The 75 years between them just vanish in that moment.
Which sets off this frantic research quest, right? He needs to know everything about her.
Immediately, he goes to Warren Brock's bookstore, the library. He's digging up anything he can find, and he finds the key text, Elise McKenna, an intimate biography.
But he doesn't read it right away. That seems counterintuitive.
It does, but it shows you his state of mind. He gets the biography, but he deliberately puts off reading it. He saves it for last.
Why?
Because he knows once he reads it, once he knows all the facts, especially the details of her life and, crucially, her death, he says it'll all be gone. He wants to hold on to the possibility, the excitement, for as long as possible.
Okay, so he's trying to keep the dream alive, delaying the inevitable confirmation that she's, dead.
Exactly, and that delay fuels this intense internal conflict. His rational mind is screaming, she's dead, she's in her grave, she's moldering bone and dust. It's brutal.
But the part of him connected to the hotel, to her image.
That part refuses to accept it. It yells back, she's not, and it's this agonizing fight between logic and this profound emotional certainty that leads him to the only possible conclusion for him. I must go back.
It's not just a wish anymore, it's a mission. He has to find a way.
And this is where it gets really fascinating, because he doesn't just wish upon a star, he develops a theory, a method.
Right, it's not magic, it's pseudoscience almost.
Yeah.
Based on the idea that time isn't strictly linear.
Sort of. His core idea is that the past isn't actually gone. He thinks of it like this immense collective ghost that still exists, especially within the walls of the hotel.
So the hotel isn't just a sanctuary, it's a vessel containing the past.
Precisely. And if the past is still there, he figures he doesn't need to move the building. He needs to move himself, his consciousness, into that past frequency.
How does he plan to do that?
He realizes he needs to break loose from the conditioning of 1971. Our minds are constantly reinforced by our present reality. He needs to undo that. And the tool he latches onto is this concept called psycho-cybernetics. It was a popular self-help idea back then.
Psycho-cybernetics. Can you break that down a bit?
Sure. Basically, the idea from Maxwell Maltz is that your brain works like a target-seeking mechanism, like a torpedo. If you feed it a clear goal or self-image, your subconscious will automatically steer you towards achieving it.
So Collier thinks if he can just convince his subconscious, his internal machine, that he is in 1896,
then his reality will conform to that belief, especially aided by the hotel because, like we said, so much of 1896 still exists within its walls. The physical place helps reinforce the mental reprogramming.
Okay, that's wild. But he needs more than just a self-help book, right? He needs some kind of intellectual justification.
He does. He needs to convince his rational mind, too. So he dives into research. He gets this huge, dense book, J.B. Priestley's Man in Time.
Priestley, what did Get give him?
Philosophical backup, really. Ideas about time being multi-layered, not just a straight line. Questioning our perception of linear time as maybe just a human construct.
So he's building an intellectual case against 1971.
Exactly, dismantling its certainty. But the really mind-bending discovery connects directly to Elise. He finds out that Elise herself, later in her life, actually read a book called An Experiment with Time by J.W. Dunn.
Dunn? What was his theory?
Dunn argued that our consciousness isn't just stuck in the present. It experiences past and future simultaneously on some level, and Collier notes Elise read this after 1896.
Wait, so does that mean his trip back might somehow influence her future interest in time? Or like a loop?
That's the implication, a causal loop starting to form even before he gets there. It feeds his conviction that this is all meant to be.
Wow, okay. So he has the method psycho-cybernetics, he has the philosophical backing Priestley,
Yeah.
and this spooky connection through Dunn. What's the final step? How does he actually flip the switch?
The ritual. He needs something to bypass his conscious mind's resistance and trigger the leap. He decides on hypnotic suggestion. Yeah, but not with his voice that distracts him. He decides to write the suggestion repeatedly. And he needs music. Very specific music.
Mahler's Ninth Symphony. The final movement, the Adagio.
Which is incredibly poignant because Bruno Walter, who knew Mahler, called that piece Mahler's Farewell to the World.
And Collier is trying to bid farewell to his world, 1971.
Exactly. He uses this incredibly somber, reflective music like a hypnotic pendulum, focusing on it while writing over and over again the core instruction. I, Richard Collier, am now in the Hotel del Coronado on November 19th, 1896.
He just writes it again and again.
Dozens of times, along with related phrases, until his arm aches. And then it happens. He describes feeling like he's in a fog, a literal mist seems to gather, the pencil feels like it's moving on its own.
Is it like a sudden snap into the past?
Not quite. It's described more like being cocooned within an 1896 shell. He senses the physical reality around him changing. The bed feels different, the fireplace looks right for the period, but he's also aware that 1971 is still somehow there, just outside this bubble.
So it's fragile. He's holding on to 1896 purely through mental force.
Extremely fragile. Any break in concentration and any intrusion from 1971 could shatter the whole thing. He's achieved the impossible, but he's walking a tightrope.
And then he wakes up. He's done it. He's in 1896. But it's not exactly a gentle landing, is it?
No, not at all. The physical toll is immediate and severe. He experiences intense vertigo, extreme weakness. He can barely stand.
Like his body is reacting to the temporal shift.
Yeah, like the sheer weight of time, maybe. He says he stumbles around like Karloff's Frankenstein monster. He looks in the mirror and sees this whey-faced stranger, feeling like he's literally left his blood behind in 1971.
Wow. So the journey itself almost breaks him physically.
It takes a massive toll. But his mind, the part he programmed, needs confirmation. He needs proof that the world outside his room matches his mental state.
So he forces himself to explore the hotel, looking for those 1896 details.
Exactly, grounding himself. And the differences are everywhere. The lobby noise is different, less muffled. The floors aren't carpeted, they're inlaid wood parquet, so footsteps echo.
Little details that scream different time.
Right. And bigger things, too. The main desk is in a different spot. Where he expects the modern smoke shop, there's a Western Union telegraph office. Very 1896.
He's also looking for things that aren't there, right?
Mm-hmm. He scans the ceilings, no modern sprinkler heads. Instead, he sees the period fire safety gear. Buckets, axes hanging on the walls. Even the coastline is different. The ocean is much closer to the hotel back then.
Every detail is another brick in the wall of his 1896 reality.
It's all validation for that subconscious programming. But the ultimate proof, the thing that will seal it.
The hotel register.
Yes, he has to find it. He sneaks into this old record room, digging through dusty ledgers, looking for the page for Thursday, November 19th, 1896.
The tension must have been incredible.
You can imagine. He finds the date, scans the names. Nothing. His heart sinks. But then he checks the next page. For Friday, November 20th. And there it is.
What does it say?
Third name down. R.C. Collier, Los Angeles, room 350, 9:18 a.m. Written in his own handwriting.
His own name, signed 75 years before he was born.
Exactly. He just breaks down, sobbing with relief he did it. But almost immediately, the other implication hits him. The chilling one.
Predestination.
Yes. He realizes he signed it exactly as he remembered seeing it when he researched it in 1971. Same initials RC, which he didn't normally use. Same time, 9:18 a.m. Meaning his trip wasn't about changing the past, it was about fulfilling it. He didn't choose to come back. He was compelled to come back to complete a loop that already existed. He was always going to sign that register.
So his free will was kind of an illusion. He was just playing a part written long ago.
That's the devastating takeaway. The time travel wasn't an act of creation, but an act of completion. The loop is closed. He's locked into the past he came to find.
That really reframes the whole story, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's not about heroism against fate. It's about the inevitability of it.
Absolutely. It makes you question everything. Did he truly choose any of this, or was he just a pawn of time itself? The science he used just enabled the destiny that was already waiting.
Okay, so the paradox is confirmed. The loop is closed. Now he just needs to find her, Lise.
Right. And despite all the mental prep for the journey, when he actually sees her on the beach, he completely freezes up. Speechless, nervous, pale.
All that effort, and he's just tongue-tied.
Totally human reaction. But then, Elise does something incredible. She looks right at this strange, pale man staring at her. And she asks,
"Is it you?"
That one question. It changes everything. He realizes instantly he doesn't have to spend hours convincing her he's not crazy or trying to explain the impossible.
Because she was expecting it.
Exactly. It turns out she had her own prophecies. She tells him later. Years before, an old Native American woman told her she'd meet a man under strange circumstances when she was 29.
Wow.
And then, just 6 months before he arrived, a gypsy wardrobe mistress told her she'd meet this man specifically in November and on a beach.
That's incredibly specific. No wonder she asked, "Is it you?"
Right. It locks in that feeling of destiny from her side, too. This meeting was fated.
But fate doesn't mean easy. Almost immediately, obstacles appear.
Oh, yeah. The real world, or rather the 1896 world, intrudes. Specifically, her protective, controlling entourage.
First up, her mother, Mrs. McKenna.
Who embodies that stiff Victorian disapproval. She sees this unknown man with her famous daughter and radiates astonished displeasure. Elise has this carefully crafted image of independence, and her mother is clearly not happy about this sudden development.
And then there's the manager, William Fawcett Robinson.
Described as having this guttural, unpleasant voice. He's immediately suspicious, questions Collier's cover story about being a playwright, tries to block them even having dinner together.
He sounds like trouble.
Definitely the main antagonist figure, but Collier has this secret knowledge about him.
Right, the Lusitania.
Yeah. Collier knows Robinson is doomed to die on the Lusitania years later. It gives Collier this weird sense of pity for the guy, even as Robinson is actively trying to sabotage him. Sort of dark, dramatic irony only Collier and the reader knows.
So Collier has this advantage of knowing the future, but he's not exactly smooth at hiding it, is he? He keeps slipping up.
Terribly clumsy. Which is understandable, I guess. The first major slip is about music.
Mahler.
Exactly. He casually mentions Mahler as his favorite composer. Elise just looks blank. She's never heard of him.
And Collier realizes.
He realizes that the biography he read back in 1971 listed Mahler as Elise's favorite composer, which means...
He's the one who introduces her to Mahler. He's creating the very future history he already read about.
Mind-bending, isn't it? He's not just experiencing the past, he's actively shaping the future facts that drew him back in the first place.
Okay, what's the other slip? Something about wine.
Yes, even more specific and alarming for Elise. He sees some chilled wine and makes an offhand comment like, "What, no unchilled red Bordeaux?"
And that's significant.
Hugely. Elise just freezes. Turns out, unchilled red Bordeaux is her absolute favorite, a very specific preference known only to her mother.
Whoa. How could he possibly know that?
He shouldn't. And this intimate, impossible knowledge genuinely scares her. She even murmurs to him, "Why am I afraid of you?" Is he psychic? A stalker from the future? It's deeply unsettling for her.
You must have had to do some fast talking to cover that up.
Yeah, he scrambles, but the seeds of doubt, or maybe just profound mystery, are planted. Yet, despite these alarming slips, the connection between them is so strong.
She trusts him anyway.
She does. She talks about how she's built this strong, independent persona as an actress, resigned to being alone. But meeting Richard feels like a total reversal for her.
Like he allows her to be vulnerable.
Exactly. She tells him, "I want to let her go now, Richard. Let her be protected." She wants to drop the protective armor of her career and just be with him, despite the strangeness. Their time is short, but incredibly intense because of this mutual, almost fated vulnerability.
So things are intense, possibly fated, but also fragile. And Robinson, the manager, isn't just going to let this happen, is he?
No, he takes action. On the night of Elise's final performance, just before she's due to leave town, he sets a trap for Richard.
What happens?
Richard gets lured away by a fake note. 2 thugs intercept him, beat him pretty badly, focusing on his abdomen, and then tie him up and leave him in a cold, dark shed.
Brutal. Just to make him miss her train.
Exactly. To get him out of the picture for good. He's seriously hurt, but fueled by desperation, he manages to break free just before they come back to, presumably, finish the job.
And he races back to the hotel.
Yes, hoping he's not too late. He finds Elise there. She's actually delayed the train, waiting for him.
Does he tell her Robinson was behind the attack?
No, he lies. He tells her it was just a random robbery attempt.
Why protect Robinson?
It's complex. Partly, he doesn't want to destroy her professional relationship, maybe. But also, remember that knowledge about the Lusitania. He sees Robinson as this tragically doomed figure, maybe acting out of a twisted sense of worship for her. So he spares him, in a way.
Wow, that adds another layer to Collier. Okay, so they have this intense reunion.
Heartbreakingly intense, Elise gives him a gift. A pocket watch.
A symbol of time, obviously.
Right. And it's inscribed with the phrase, "And love most sweet."
And Richard recognizes this phrase.
Instantly. His heart just sinks. Because he knows from reading that biography back in 1971 that this exact phrase, a slight misquote from a Mary Baker Eddy hymn, those will be Elise McKenna's dying words years later.
Oh, God. So the gift itself confirms her future, her death, and the tragic brevity of their connection.
It seals the deal. Their love is real, it's sweet, but it's absolutely tied to this predetermined, tragic timeline. And then she tells him,
I love you.
Yes. And in that moment, Richard feels like he's finally truly arrived. He feels encapsulated by 1896, like the past is absorbing him so completely he's forgetting 1971 ever existed. He thinks he's won, he's broken the link.
He thinks he's safe in the past now.
He does. But the story makes a powerful point here about destiny and how it operates not just on the grand scale, but in the tiniest details.
The climax isn't some big battle, is it? It's something small.
Agonizingly small. After their declaration of love, feeling secure in 1896, Richard gets his suit jacket back, the one he wore from 1971, the one he'd sent out to be pressed.
Uh-oh.
He puts the jacket on, feeling totally integrated into the past. But the jacket itself is the anachronism. It's the Trojan horse from his own time.
And inside
He
it.
casually puts his hand in a pocket,
Yeah.
and his fingers close around something small and metallic. He pulls it out. It's an old copper penny, but the date on it is 1971.
A penny. A modern penny. Left in the pocket.
A single, insignificant coin from the time he tried so desperately to escape. And that tiny, physical piece of 1971 reality is enough.
To break the spell.
Instantly. The psychological cocoon he built just shatters. He describes it as being violently hurled back across time. One second he's with Elise in 1896. The next he's standing alone in his 1971 hotel room.
Just like that. Gone.
Gone. He's completely drained, unable to process it. The reality crashes down. Elise is dead. 75 years dead. And he feels dead too, ripped away from the only thing that mattered.
That is just devastating.
It's brutal, and there's this final sort of pathetic detail. He wanders out to the modern parking lot in the rain, totally dazed. He needs his car keys. Remembers he left them in one of those magnetic key boxes under the car.
The kind of mundane, modern detail he hated.
Exactly. Finding those keys, stuck magnetically to his modern car, the one he didn't even care about making payments on it, just hammers home the finality of his return. 1971 has reclaimed him, completely and irrevocably.
All because of a penny you probably didn't even know was there.
The ultimate symbol of how fragile his connection was and how utterly dominant reality, or perhaps destiny, really is. He achieved the impossible only to be undone by pocket change.
Leaving behind just the memory and the historical record he was always meant to complete.
Precisely. Their love exists, but only as this intense, beautiful, tragic moment locked in time, documented in the biography he eventually reads.
So, wrapping this up, what a journey. We followed Richard Collier from his deep alienation in 1971.
That grinding, pulsing presentness.
Through his meticulous, almost scientific plan using psychocybernetics and that incredibly evocative Mahler symphony.
To his disorienting arrival in 1896, finding Elise, confirming the time loop with that signature.
And then the incredibly brief, intense connection, doomed from the start by destiny, and ultimately severed by, well, by Penny.
It really underscores the immense power of obsession, but also the seeming rigidity of time and fate in the story's universe. He succeeded, but only in fulfilling what was already written.
And the cost was immense. He found his connection, but couldn't keep it. He was destined only to be a memory for her, ensuring the historical record stayed intact.
It really plays on that conflict between the mind and the heart, doesn't it? He used logic and research to get there, but the whole thing was driven by pure emotion, and ultimately undone by cold, hard physics.
There's a line from the book, from his reflections, that seems to capture it perfectly, something you wanted to leave our listeners with.
Yeah, it feels like the core of it all. For no matter how the mind may speak, there must always come that moment when the heart speaks louder.
A powerful thought. His heart screamed across time, and for a moment, he made it.
But reality, or destiny, had the last word. It makes you think, you know. What would you risk for a connection that powerful? And could something as simple as a forgotten coin be enough to pull you back?
Something to definitely ponder. Until our next deep dive, keep exploring those connections.